Welcome back to the Gastlecast. Tonight we're talking about a little something different. We're not talking about pops. We're going to talk about movies and some other pop culture stuff. And to help me is...
Matthew Kokomo Jr. You can find me at Matthew J. Better. I am a credentialed writer, certified personal trainer, a longtime fan of superheroes and fandom and movies and all that stuff. Subscribe to my podcast, Better Health and World or Better Fightcast on iTunes or SoundCloud.
So with all of that, you know he knows what he's talking about. And tonight we're going to talk about a couple of different topics. But first, go ahead and watch this! So the first thing we're going to talk about is Halloween movies, our favorite Halloween movies, because it's so spooky. So what are your favorite Halloween movies? I mean, you think off the top of your head.
Well, I've been thinking about this topic a lot lately, actually. This is actually a planned topic for the very end of my next installment of Better Health and World, which should be out in about a week. And I'm wondering, is it Halloween movies or scary movies? Because there is a little bit of a difference, because there's some Halloween movies that aren't scary movies.
Sure. I would say any movie that fits that Halloween feel when Halloween time comes around and you want to throw on a movie that brings that feeling in, and even nostalgia sometimes for me.
Yeah.
Sit back and watch. I mean,
my favorite scary movie of all time is probably The Shining. I would have to say the vintage Jack Nicholson, Stanley Kubrick, The Shining. It's just a beautiful cinematic experience. I'm also a big fan of something a little more modern, 28 Days Later. Usually
okay, 28 Days Later. That's a great movie.
I mean, I'm trying to narrow down my top 5, and it's very trying. For one, because it's the different categories like I was talking about, and also there's just so many.
Sure.
And I keep thinking of more and more and more.
Well, let me fire off a couple.
All right.
So one of the top ones for me always has been and always will be the original Halloween.
Oh, that was the
next. Because the original Halloween is such an awesome movie, and it even holds up today. The music and everything about that movie, because it kind of began the whole slasher, franchise, the franchisees and franchises down the road. I think that's a great movie. I love watching that every Halloween. And I also really like watching Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
Today...
Another one that just might be on... I have to go on the top 5.
So on my Vudu account, I have a Vudu account with a bunch of friends and family where we have about 250 different movies. And today I decided, I really want to watch the original Dawn of the Dead. It is not on there. It is not on there. The only one that's on there is that 2004 one, which is not so good. I'm not a big fan of it.
It's okay.
It was okay. It was just okay.
The thing, that movie was interesting because it was it was one of the first movies after 28 Days Later kind of redid what a zombie is.
Absolutely.
That Dawn of the Dead remake is one of the very few other movies that has zombies that can run.
Right.
Because you don't see that very often.
And I hate that.
Inside of a Vacuum, it was a pretty cool movie, but yeah, what was great about the original Dawn of the Dead, and it was obviously a sequel to the penultimate the ultimate zombie movie,
yes,
or ultimate classic zombie movie, Night of the Living Dead.
Right.
Is it's it's only 4 people in the mall, and in the remake it's like 25 people. It's like the 5th season of Lost, where it's like, hey, here's a whole more people.
Yeah, a whole lot of people just showed up. Where did they come from?
We got all kinds of people. We got some big names. We got the chick that looks like Uma Thurman. Man, we're gonna go crazy. We're gonna get this boss with these chainsaws. Man, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And I mean, it was cool, but the original Dawn of the Dead, I think, is better than the original Night of the Living Dead, probably.
Oh, it's such a fantastic movie.
It's beautiful, and it's like 3 hours. It's like pushing 3 hours or something, but
right,
it's great.
It's just such a good.
I mean, what's great about those movies is it's not so the zombies and the violence and the fear from getting killed by them almost has to take a back seat to the human drama and the interplay between the characters that goes on. Because I mean, any good horror movie or science fiction movie or any fantasy, it's that those extra elements are supposed to be a metaphor for reality.
Well, then they're in a mall. I mean, who doesn't want to be trapped inside of a mall?
Yeah.
At least for 24 hours, just running around and just screwing with other than the local mall down the street, which is horrible. But a very big mall with a bunch of stores inside of it, and being able to open the gates up and just screw around, and they actually show that in the movie. They're all having a great time. They're playing with the toys. They're in the toy store and all this stuff, and that's so awesome. And it's one of those things, as a kid watching it, because I was a kid when I watched that movie, I thought, man, how awesome would that be to be playing with G.I. Joes and Transformers inside of a mall that's bare and there's nobody else in it.
I mean, that's probably the best zombie movie.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would say.
The only one I would say rivals it is, like I said, 28 Days Later, a special place in my heart. But
28 Days Later is
zombies.
Great. Yeah,
I understand. I understand why you don't like, because they're not supposed to do that.
Well, it's interesting now because back, you would even say 10 years ago or less, you'd look back on it, you would be like, oh, zombie movie this, zombie movie that, and now you have Walking Dead, which has opened up a humongous world, and there's a lot of characters, and it's character driven. If you think about Walking Dead now, it isn't about the zombie, it's really about the people that are in that world. And that's Dawn of the Dead is, that's where that all came from. Dawn of the Dead and the original Night of the Living Dead, that all spawned all of that. And having this humongous season, episode, show is amazing. It's a dream for somebody who loves zombie movies, and that's me.
I guess they aren't really making too many zombie movies these days, because
how can you compete?
Yeah, you can't. In The Walking Dead, they have the classic lumbering zombies,
right?
So
and now you're watching them kind of age over time, falling apart.
Nobody's going to be able to top that.
There's no how can you? It's impossible. And you also have the human element, and you have now you have a Negan. It's outside of that whole zombie kind of thing. Now you have humans that are just as bad as the zombies. It makes it really interesting. But yeah, so Dawn of the Dead for me, the original Halloween, and the original Friday the 13th, which is a great movie. And that's one I like to watch quite often. And I watched a video the other day, and would you believe it isn't until the third Friday the 13th before Jason actually puts on the mask.
I know. He's not. He shows up in the last second in the end of the first movie.
Right.
In the second movie, he's wearing a potato sack.
Right, with the hole in it.
The one hole.
The one hole. One eye hole.
And then he finally finds the hockey mask in the third one.
Why wouldn't he decide just to put another hole in there so he had both eyes? I mean, it is a little bit more evil looking just with the one eye, But why not the two? I don't know.
Well, maybe he's blind.
Maybe he just
maybe he just had the machete. And he cut the first hole with the machete, and it didn't go quite as planned, so he decided he would just stick with the one.
And then
hole.
he just got too busy because he was busy killing people.
Well, that too.
Yeah, he was too busy.
Maybe.
He didn't have enough time.
My face is already mush and worms.
He's like, take 5 minutes to cut this hole, or take 5 minutes and murder a bunch of children. I don't know. Which one should I do?
I'd like to think there's just this giant growing pile of burlap sacks behind some cabin full of dead teenagers where he kept trying to put two holes and it just wouldn't work out. So
absolutely.
He's just like, all right, I'm a one-hole kind of guy.
And, so one of the movies that I watched last year that I had never watched before was the original Frankenstein. Have you ever watched that?
No. Are we talking like 1929
I'm talking about
something,
the old
something like that.
Old
like
Halloween, the old horror movies.
Yeah, like Boris Karloff or somebody like that.
As an adult, as a kid, I would tell you that looking at that and watching it, I don't know if it would have really resonated quite as much, but now watching it as an adult, they're so amazing. They're so fun to watch. It's almost like watching a stage show on, being, filmed. It's very bizarre.
When you talk about character driven, it's got to be, I guess.
It's excellent, and the room where the lab where the Dr. Frankenstein is working on Frankenstein's monster, that looks really cool. I mean, you're talking the 20s, 30s. I mean, it's incredible, the stage design. Some movies nowadays you get no stage design, and all the walls are white, and it's ridiculous looking. I mean, that's pretty awesome for back then.
Probably.
Absolutely.
Probably. They're like, this is the most expensive movie ever made. It's like these cathode rays and stuff.
Well, you watch Frankenstein and you wonder what's happening in that lab. Like, there's just things going off and lights and things, and you're just like, what's happening in there? What is that? But yeah, so that movie, really cool. I actually want to go back and watch all of the old, original horror movies, like the black and white movies, the Mummy.
Yeah, the Universal Studios kind of movies that they're all trying to bring back now.
And with their crashing and burning horribly.
Have they given up on that?
I believe with the last Mummy movie with Tom Cruise, it was such a horrible film. I never watched it. Did you watch it?
No. I love Tom Cruise too, but I am not going to bother.
It just looked horrible, and I read the reviews, and I just decided, I'm not going to.
They're trying to force it. They're trying to force the shared universe thing.
They are
like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And
yes,
you can't force it.
Which is a great idea on paper, but when you try to throw it up on the screen, I mean, you can't really put all of these monsters in the same world. I mean, back in the 30s and 40s and 50s, it might have made some sort of sense because, oh my God, here are these monsters. But nowadays, it's like, it just doesn't. People watch movies not only because of the entertainment and having a great time, but they have to watch it and it has to make some sort of sense. So when the Mummy shows up and there's Frankenstein, it's like, wait a minute, what? This doesn't make any sense. And the closest thing that ever got to any of that up to date was Van Helsing, and that movie did horrible. and it didn't even look all that great. I remember it was.
I don't know if I saw it.
It wasn't all that great. No. Don't waste your time.
I mean, there was Underworld, which is sort of a similar thing, and I like the Underworld movies, but they are kind of soulless and they don't really have a whole lot going on. Better than Resident Evil. Somehow those two seem to get linked together. And
oh my god!
They're okay, but they're just like pushed out on a conveyor belt.
They just seem like B-level movies that are put in a theater to make a lot of money because they know with the Resident Evil title on the film that people will go in droves to watch them, and that's why it has lasted, over the last 15 years or so. What horrible movies! As a fan of Resident Evil, it was such a spit in the face.
Well, you mentioned Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street. I did not mention.
Yeah, actually, that's what I was going to bring up. I was going to lead you to that. Yeah, I think that's like another one of those, like Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. Those kind of, it's almost like our generation, or maybe like a half generation before ours. Universal Studios classic movie monster franchise that they were trying to do. Like those are the classic slasher things, and of those movies. What's the best? Do you think Halloween is the best? Because I think you can make an argument that it is. I think the Friday the 13th movies, I mean, I guess they all are sort of formulaic.
Yeah, I mean, Halloween was so great because it took it kind of sort of started a genre, and
did
then
Halloween
also
come out before those?
It did.
Okay,
and then the music really amped everything up. The music was incredible on that movie.
John Carpenter for creating the music and writing and directing and everything.
Oh yeah,
he's probably played a 7-Eleven clerk in there somewhere or something. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but now you have these reboots and things, and they did a Friday the 13th reboot in 2009, and it didn't do anything for me. The new Nightmare on Elm Street was horrible because it had exactly. And that movie, I don't even understand why they thought that movie would take off. It cannot be a new Nightmare on Elm Street without Robert Englund. It just doesn't.
Because I mean, there's just that right balance of horror and comedy. And it's just
it didn't start off that way.
Robert Englund, it was just a little bit of
the original movie didn't have a whole lot of slapstick in it. He became more of that slapstick character later on.
And once it got to that, that's when it became something. It became a punchline. But I think.
And Johnny Depp died in the first one.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he got sucked into the bed.
Yeah, that's right, into the waterbed. Yeah, that's how I want to go, man.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not get sucked into a waterbed? Why not?
I'd rather it be when I'm 95, but
So these are all great movies, I think. Halloween is a beautiful time. I love Halloween. I love the weather changing, and it gets a little bit colder out, and it's all about like pumpkin pie and all this and candy and all this kind of stuff.
Well, there's a couple of Halloween movies that aren't scary movies, like I sort of alluded to earlier. A couple that stand out: Nightmare Before Christmas, one of my favorite Halloween movies, and It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, one of my favorite Halloween movies.
Absolutely.
And there's probably some other Halloween movies that aren't.
They get you in the mood. These are the movies that get you in the mood.
Yeah.
And Nightmare Before Christmas could really fall into the Christmas category.
I love
really,
it. I love
it.
I
it's
like
kind
to
of in
think
the
of
middle.
The Christmas season as being 3 months long because I love the Christmas season.
There you go. Boom. Halloween costumes this year. So, what are you going to do?
Sometimes I'll have an adult costume and a kid's costume. This year it's probably just going to be a kid's costume to go along with my son's costume. He's going to be Spider-Man from Spider-Man Homecoming, the traditional standard costume that he was given from Tony Stark.
Okay.
And I, of course, am going to be the Vulture. They don't make an adult Vulture costume.
That's an awesome costume.
So I ordered the largest one they have, which is a large child's costume, and I figured I would alter it, but I actually don't need to. It looks hilarious when I wear it.
That's
but
great.
I can just barely squeeze into it.
I can't wait to see you trouncing around in that thing.
It's got the little, the little feet covers that go over your thing, and so they're like halfway up my shins.
You have like high shoes,
and it's got like the furry thing going here, and it's supposed to clip at the back, and like you can get the Velcro to, but it'll be like. Pling!
You're going to staple it all together.
Hold on. So I'm going to be Vulture.
That's going to look awesome. You're painting a hell of a picture.
I'm excited. And a couple years ago, I was the Falcon to his Captain America from the Winter Soldier. Ooh. I'm recycling the wings that I made. They were very awkward because they were just like large triangles of industrial cardboard that I had tied here and here, and I didn't think of the fact that I had it tied right here with cardboard going right here. So the whole night last year, I was just like, Whenever I try to pick up anything, just trying to hold trick-or-treat bags and knock on doors. So I think I might tie them up here. I might buy some Velcro. I don't know. We'll see.
I can't grab anything with these things.
Pretty much.
So this year I decided to go the Negan route. My lovely Heather, who is not on this video, is going the Negan route as well. And the reason why we're doing that, which you probably know if you watch a lot of the videos, we are going to Walker Stalker this year. And we're going to meet Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who is Negan. Awesome. And we're going to meet him. We're going to get a photo with him. We're going to get something signed. We're going to both be dressed as Negan. It's going to be awesome. And we're also going to dress like Negan for a little Halloween get-together that we're going to do. So we'll be able to use it a couple times over.
And if there is an appropriate costume, we're more than one people. I mean, because everybody is Negan when they're Negan.
Absolutely.
So I'm Negan. We're Negan.
Yeah, that's right.
We're Negan.
I am Negan.
We're Negan.
That's right. Absolutely.
So I love it.
I think it'll be awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. Still buying parts of the costume. It's a pain in the butt. The belt itself, they wanted like $75 on Amazon. I was like, oh my god! It's like a belt. It hangs. It has like a big loop on. It's a whole thing. Wow. But it looks really really cool, and they're selling it where it's almost like movie accurate. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to pay that much.
How much do they want for it?
It's like 75. It was 75.
Only 75.
So I might go out and try to find a belt that's very similar at a lower cost. I just have to go and see if I can find it. So that's the Halloween costume this year. I'm really looking forward to it. A couple years ago, I was Papa from Ghost, and then I was Han Solo last year. Myself, I did Han Solo. My son, he was Kylo Ren. We actually have a picture of him stabbing me with a lightsaber. Han Solo, Kylo Ren. I thought that was perfect. And Heather was Princess Leia. Nice. It was perfect. I have the picture on my desk at work.
I think that same year, or it might have been the year before, I was actually Han Solo, and I went through a similar belt dilemma because I wanted the Han Solo belt.
I have it.
But it was like lots and lots of money.
Yeah.
And I was worried I wouldn't even have time to order it by the time I realized I was coming up to the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had a couple of belts I pieced together and had some rubber bands to hold my Han Solo blaster in there
awesome.
And everything. And he was Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi.
Sweet.
My favorite version of Luke Skywalker.
The black suit.
Yeah, probably my favorite Star Wars character.
Yes,
Han Solo
perfect.
might be up there. I got a big, loves me some Chewie too. So it's hard to really.
Yeah,
it's like your favorite kids.
I got
probably
the belt.
Harder than that. Actually.
I got the belt for about $30, and it wasn't bad. But I ordered the boots and I got 2 left shoes. So that was hilarious. So I had to wear other shoes from a friend of mine. So yeah, so this year I will be set and ready for Halloween. Hopefully. Crossing my fingers. And next, the new Walking Dead is coming on this weekend. The 22nd, I think it is. What's today? Yep, 22nd.
Can't believe
so
it's here already.
It's already here. We are ready in this household. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm pumped. I think this season, the things that are going to happen this season is the things that everybody wanted to see last season. So we're finally going to see it. I think people were a little premature. People are like, oh, they're going to get him. It's like, no, it's episode 3. I don't think they're going to kill Negan yet.
Yeah, they're not going to kill Negan.
They're going to give him a little more time. I'm pretty sure he stuck around a little bit longer in the comics.
In the comic, he's still alive.
And he's such a good villain.
And he's a great actor.
Probably the best villain for the whole series. You can make some arguments for the governor, I guess. But
nah, he's nowhere near the governor. He's so much better than the governor. Absolutely so much better.
I would say so.
Ridiculous.
What's good about both of them is they both have a good. I like a villain with a good philosophy. He's got a good ethos behind what he's doing, where he's not just power hungry Satanist, all in for just destruction for destruction's sake. Like he's kind of like Darth Vader. Like he's trying to bring order and peace to the universe, or everything. Right. And
he's out to get what he can get to survive.
He just happens to benefit by having 8 wives.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, he does a couple. He does some.
That's part of peace and order too. You need a strong leader.
He does evil things and bashing people's heads in to show that how powerful he is. The Iron Hammer. Yeah. But which makes a great villain. I mean, if you really think about it. So it'll be interesting how this season plays out. Maggie with the baby and our group that's completely beaten down, trying to get other groups to join them to fight back. And in the last episode of the last season, we did see some fighting back. They joined up with the Kingdom, and the tiger came in at the last episode and attacked one of the guys. I mean, it was a whole thing. So it'll be interesting to see them trying to build up to combat Negan and his group.
Satisfying season finale. I'm glad they did what they did. I'm glad they didn't put off. They gave us a taste of a big all-out battle.
Gave us a payoff.
I was worried. So I'm glad that with the season finale, they didn't make it another slow burn leading up to the big fight. I think they made the right choices. This season really left a lot of people. I mean, I know everybody watches this show, and so many people at the end of every week, they were pissed.
They were talking
They
crap.
were pissed because they wanted to see more stuff. They didn't want to. They just tired of seeing.
Well, there's a lot of filler.
Of seeing the characters that they love getting beaten down. There was some filler, but I think that a lot of what they did really was necessary because this is a good
how about
villain.
the episode where they go on the beach with the beach people? I mean, that whole episode was like obnoxiously ridiculous and bad. They could have taken that episode.
Don't give Tara a whole episode ever again, guys.
And they could have tied him.
At least cut it in half with.
They could have tied it in with something else and made it way far more interesting, and it just was not.
Yeah, that episode. Yeah, that
it just was not. It wasn't that.
That could have been 12 minutes, and you could say that they needed to make that whole episode so that when Tara betrays them, it's got more weight. I don't care. I disagree. Didn't need to be that much. But other than that, I think this season was a good lead up to the war that is going to probably be this season, and I'm glad that they made almost the entire season finale that.
Yes,
or it felt like it
because
anyway.
it's showing that
I guess the whole fight
it's
might have only
around.
been like 12 minutes or something. I can't remember, but it felt like a real complete battle between both sides, and I thought it was great. It was great and unpredictable.
Right.
I kind of kicked myself in the head for not seeing the garbage people betraying them, but
I didn't
like that
expect.
twist. I like that twist. It makes sense to me. And I'm very excited for this.
I'm really excited
to see what goes.
Absolutely. I think in this season we're going to see a lot more of the beating down. I think that it's going to be them building up, and it's going to get to the mid-season finale where they're building up and they're still kind of getting beaten down, and then the tail end at the end of the season, it's going to be them more fighting back, and it's going to end where it's more of an equal. It's more equal than it is right now.
That's interesting.
That's how I think it's going to go.
Negan and all of the other Negans know what's up, and so they're not going to be coming in with trucks to raid their supplies anymore. It's just going to be, I guess, chipping away at them however they can.
Well, in one of the episodes in the last season, we saw that they were feeding the pigs the walkers.
Yeah.
So that probably has something to do with their plans of what they're going to end up doing to Negan's crew. So that's probably going to be that's going to affect it somehow. Maybe turn them into walkers, and then their base is going to become an issue.
Make them sick or something?
I don't know, and that's a possibility, and it could turn the tides that way. All we want to see now is our guys fight back and win something, because in the last season it was constant beating down. They were losing over and over and over again, and everybody was sad, and the fans are watching in horror the entire time. But meanwhile, me, Goofball, is watching it and laughing the entire time watching Negan. Every time he was on screen, I'd get really giddy. And that's how I know that he's an effective character and an effective villain. Yeah. Because I am not completely against him. And I think that it's awesome that they were able to paint the character in such a way. Almost like how everybody liked, I don't know, they see a side of maybe Darth Vader or Boba Fett or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, they like the character so much that it's like, oh my God, I want to see him win. There's part of me that wants to see him win. And that's great. That I want that to happen. The governor the entire time, I'm like, I hate this guy. He's so stupid. I want him to die. And then he came back, and it was like, oh God, he's coming back.
For 2 episodes.
I'm just so done with him. Then he had then he had his own episode of his. He had his own episodes
that's
about
right.
him.
He came back twice, I guess.
Yeah, it was just so ridiculous, and I was so tired of watching it. But with Negan, I just want to keep seeing him. There were episodes that I'd watch with Heather where I would look at her and say, I really wish Negan was in this episode. I want to see more of Negan. I really enjoy the character. I remember a long time ago on Talking Dead, Chris Hardwick even brought up the fact that he didn't think that this character would make TV. That Negan wouldn't even be able to make it based upon the amount of times that he curses and everything else, and the violence and all that.
Big on the F-bombs.
Well, they're throwing F-bombs in the new season, because they can get away with so many in one episode. Okay. In fact, I was watching Fear the Walking Dead, and they threw it in there at one point. So it's interesting to see that TV is actually cooperating, where they can actually make the show that they want to make.
Now, I think if you're on cable, the only thing you have to worry about is advertisers. If you're on a regular network, you have to worry about the FCC or something along those lines. But in theory, you can kind of do whatever you want on cable, but then you just worry about losing all your money.
Absolutely. That's pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's all relying on who's paying. So,
hopefully,
the show does so well, and there's so many fans, and there's so much backing it now, and even just the stuff there's the action figures and everything else. I mean, the show has become humongous. Kirkman must be sitting on just a pile of money.
Cultural phenomenon.
And he said not too long ago at San Diego Comic-Con, the way that he spoke, it sounded like he had an end for Walking Dead. Then he came back at New York Comic-Con and said, absolutely not. What he meant was that there's an end for Rick, and the show and the comic could continue going on. So there's a whole spin on the whole thing.
It seems like Rick and Daryl are the two characters that you really can't kill, but you really could.
And Daryl has so much merchandise behind him.
Yeah.
People are out for merchandise over Daryl. And they even made a shirt that said, we'll ride for, if Daryl dies and all this stuff.
Do you think they could afford to lose Rick more than they could afford to lose Daryl?
Yes.
I think you're right.
Yeah, because I think people are
used to throw Carl in there too, but I think they could kill Carl.
Carl, I think they'll keep him on for quite a while.
I think they will, but I think they could get away with killing him.
Well, what I want to see what happens with Carl is that Carl... I don't read the comics, so don't strike me over this. But I like to see Carl kind of turn sort of into a semi-villain. Yeah. I think that would be a really cool story arc. Well, that his father, he always had that problem that his father wouldn't actually take the chance and do what he needed to do. And Carl is willing to take that chance. And I want to see more of that. Yeah. Because him sitting in front of Negan and listening to Negan, I want to see more of that relationship.
Well, I believe that was a bigger thing in the comic. Because right now in the series, is Dwight locked in the prison in Alexandria right now? Or I know he was locked up.
Yeah, they had him locked up in the last episode.
I think he's locked up as of right now. And in the comics, I believe Negan was the one locked in the prison.
No, he gets locked up later. Dwight actually turns and becomes friends with them because Negan was treating him like crap.
Well, he was saying
Negan does end up in the jail cell.
Okay, in the comic, did they both end up in the jail at different points?
Yes. Negan was actually in jail up until not too long ago in the comic, and he's now broke free, and he's like actually helping Rick and the crew.
Oh, Negan is?
Yes.
Wow.
In some capacity, and he's still alive.
That's
what I really, really want to see in this season, before we talk way too much about Walking Dead, is they actually made a comic of the background of Negan and how he became Negan and everything else. He was a gym teacher and everything else. Yeah. And apparently his wife was named Lucille or something like that. So it'll be interesting. I would love to see a full episode about the background Negan. That's what I want to see.
They gave the Governor 2 episodes that wasn't Origins.
We could definitely give a full episode to Negan, no doubt. And the next thing that we're going to talk about that it has nothing to do with horror is the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. There are a lot of new Marvel Cinematic Universe movies coming up. The first one is Thor Ragnarok, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm actually going to see the movie in the next couple weeks. I have my tickets already purchased. We bought premiere tickets for Thor Ragnarok, and basically what it is that an hour before the showing, they're actually going to play like a featurette, and they give you like little gifts and stuff. So it'll be a lot of fun. I'm really, really looking forward to that because it is, again, it's my birthday, and it'll be a lot of fun, and we're going to have dinner beforehand, and it's going to be awesome, and I'm going to be excited. So it's going to be really fun. But Thor Ragnarok, thoughts on it? Just some quick thoughts.
Pumped.
I am too.
I am pumped. Ever since the first trailer where I saw Gladiator Hulk fighting, going after him in the ring, looked
awesome. I was in it to win it.
I have been ready from the jump. I am one of the few people that really enjoyed Thor: Dark World. I thought that was a good movie.
I thought it was okay.
I thought it was good. I had a good time.
It kind of bummed me out. I thought it was going to be a lot better. In fact, in the theater, I even watched it. I was like, oh no! Like I was afraid that the movies were kind of taking the wrong turn because at the time I didn't like Iron Man 3 so much, and I'm like Iron Man 3, Thor 2, and it was like starting to go down this path.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I was being concerned. I was like kind of concerned. But now, looking back on it, they all kind of add up, and they all have their own little... Like, Iron Man 3, I love it now.
Yeah, if you go back and rewatch Iron Man 3, I mean, it's a great character story.
Absolutely.
Watching Tony Stark try to get by without being
the
Iron
Man.
Man
Without the suit. Yep. It's perfect.
Like he said to Spider-Man in Homecoming, if you need the suit, you don't deserve the suit.
Exactly. And that was a perfect movie showing that, and that he has awareness over all of that. But I think Thor Ragnarok's going to be awesome. Thor is apparently amazing in this movie. The movie is at like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes as this date, 10/20, October 20th.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it'll probably go down a little bit soon, but...
It'll probably go down, but I'm okay with where it is right now.
I have faith, and it's supposed to be a comedy, basically.
Yes, it is.
It's supposed to be like an action comedy almost throughout. It's a comedy director, I believe, and I think he lets his people kind of riff and improv and all that. So I'm excited to see what's going on. I hope they don't make Thor too goofy. That's the one thing I'm a little worried about.
I think that James Gunn went to see it on premiere, and he said it was just amazing. And I think James Gunn with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, he knows where the line is with a comedy.
Yeah.
And he knows how much you're supposed to give versus how much you're supposed to give the action and the other entertainment. And if he watched it and thought it was amazing, that's even better.
I mean, up to now, the Guardians movies are the
comedies,
probably the closest
practically.
perfect blend of comedy
Absolutely.
action, and they're beautiful.
I think with
They're
almost any
beautiful.
movie, pretty much. I think the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, they just meet that criteria
It's a
perfectly.
hard line to walk.
They're so
it's
good.
a hard line to walk.
And if
Where
you like
can
Thor
maintain
Ragnarok, that's
both
great.
the whole way throughout.
Thor! Can't wait. Black Panther trailer released this week, the second one. And I actually just watched it with Matt again so he could watch it. What did you think of that?
I'm pretty excited about that movie. That looks cool. I'm interested. I like the Black Panther character in Civil War. I'd like to see them flesh him out. I hope we get a shot of a frozen Bucky Barnes in the background.
Yes,
here
that
and
would be
there.
great.
Maybe he'll get.
Maybe he'll
frosted.
even
That'd be
maybe
nice.
he'll
That'd be
even
nice.
jump in at some point. That would be really cool too.
Cool to see him.
The movie trailer looked awesome. The movie looks great. The song that they put over top the trailer, no,
Yeah.
did not like it
I
at
don't
all.
know about that. I don't know about
Not a
that.
fan at all. You know, a lot of the trailers these days, it's either they go with like that instrumental kind of theatrical type of music, or they go with like a song, like a classic song. So,
Yeah.
you know, Thor Ragnarok, the first
Like a-
trailer had, I think it was Led Zeppelin or something
I was
like
gonna
that.
say like a cover of Led
Yeah.
Zeppelin or something.
So
yeah.
which is cool, and I'm not saying that the rap music that was over top or whatever you call it over top of the Black Panther trailer is bad because it was rap music. It just didn't seem to. They didn't seem to meld well. I think if you took a theatrical instrumental song and put it over top of the trailer, it would be an entirely different trailer. Personally, that's what I think.
they do something different with rap because I love hip hop.
Yeah,
but that
I mean, it could have been something.
That hip hop I do not love.
I just think that it was just bad music choice, but the trailer itself looked really awesome, and I'm really looking forward to that movie because what that is doing is setting up Wakanda, and in Infinity War, one of the Thanos' henchmen actually goes to Wakanda to attack Wakanda, and Wakanda fights back and defeats him. So they're trying to show you how great Wakanda is and how powerful they are, so you know what kind of technology's there, what kind of force is there, and then this guy goes there and he's like, oh, I'm going to destroy them. And he gets there and he's like, well, I made the wrong decision. This is horrible. I'm about to die. You know, so you're going to be able to see all that kind of come to fruition as it did in the comic book.
I mean, I'm pumped to see T'Challa get his own movie because I really
Loved him in Civil War.
I loved his character and his character arc in Civil War, and I just loved how he was just on the right side of everybody in the very end of that movie. And
Absolutely.
I am very excited to see what happens.
And I loved, when I walked out of that movie, the 3 times I saw it in the theater, I think it was 3 or 2, when I walked out of the movie, every time my first 2 thoughts were, I want to see a Black Panther movie and I want to see a Spider-Man movie. We have Spider-Man, now we're getting Black Panther. Dreams are coming true, ladies and gentlemen. Dreams are coming true. Yes.
Hope.
And then the next movie that comes after Black Panther, Infinity War! It'll be awesome. I can't wait.
God. I feel like we've been waiting for this movie for like 12 years.
And when will the trailer come, do you think? I think, my personal opinion is this. I think that Star Wars will release in December, and I think with that movie, the trailer for Infinity War will come with it.
Is Infinity War coming out in like May or something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it gives a perfect time. You have that
probably
6-month
right.
window, because we just got a good Star Wars
Well, when
trailer,
does Black
right?
Panther come out? Like February?
Yes.
So they're not going to wait that long
No.
for the first trailer.
So, well,
Star
you never
Wars is
know,
probably
because
it.
with Star Wars,
They don't
they
need a
waited a
trailer.
long time to give us a full trailer. I mean,
Yeah.
we had the teaser that happened at Celebration 2017, and then now, just recently, about a week ago, we got that new trailer for Star Wars. It looks great. I'm really excited for it. But I think during that movie, we're going to get this trailer.
You're
for
probably
Infinity War.
right.
And from what the little bits that I saw that posted online, which I kind of didn't want to watch, but I did anyway, of somebody holding a camera inside of SDCC, San Diego
hard, man.
Comic-Con, he was watching it, I watched it, and it just... I had a seizure, I think.
Yeah.
I had to see. I was just like, oh my God!
It's
I was
hard
like
to
losing.
look away. It's hard to
Oh
look
my
away. I almost
goodness.
clicked on an article about some Game of Thrones stuff, and I'm like, no! I got too long to wait. I don't even want to know. I don't even wanna know
Oh,
what
it's
they're gonna
so
say.
amazing!
No.
It's all coming to fruition. We get all these movies, and Avengers, you have Thanos turn around, and Guardians of the Galaxy, you have Thanos show up on that chair, he's spinning around, and then now we're getting a movie where Thanos is practically the main character. Can you believe it?
And it's the Russo brothers.
Yes.
Who did
and the Russo brothers are so great.
They did the Civil War and they did Winter Soldier, which a lot of people put up as the best MCU movie. Probably not my personal favorite, but they know how to make a superhero film.
Right,
especially
absolutely.
with a whole bunch of people in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very exciting.
They can throw a lot of characters together, make sense out of it, and not make a big catastrophe. This is great.
What Joss Whedon did with Avengers and bringing all those characters together, and the way the genre has evolved and the bar has been raised, I believe that the Russos will meet and exceed that bar.
I think they will.
It'll be like Avengers squared.
And like Joss Whedon's doing right now with, what is it, Justice League?
Justice League. Yep.
That'll be interesting to see how that turns out. But we will talk about a lot more stuff because we're going to make a separate channel for movie-related topics and other pop culture. And this is the first video of that. Heather will probably be around for the next one. We will do more of these, and Matt will probably be here for most of them because Matt,
so much more to say.
He's so awesome and he knows so much.
Episode 8.
I know.
Justice League. Ugh.
The next time, maybe we'll talk about the new Star Wars trailer because we lost our mind over it. But we can't fit it here. We have too much. There's too much. Walking Dead, there's too many things. So for this episode, it was great that you came by. We hope that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. We would love that here at the Gastlecast. Thank you for watching. You have any parting words?
Thanks again. It was nice meeting everybody. Again, I am at Matthew J. Better. Subscribe to my things, Better Health and World or Better Fightcast on iTunes or SoundCloud.
Make sure you subscribe!
Love you guys.
And our hunts, we hunt together! See you next time!